Hello.
Hey, everybody, we're back again. Talk a little NCAA college football. We are already up into week 13. We're deep into the college football season.
Deep into the heart of the season.
And deep into the heart of the season. We're getting almost towards the end of it now. We're down to the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of football, and then that's it.
We hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everybody had a Thanksgiving. And football is a big part of Thanksgiving. So, but first of all, we're all way up into week 13, but we do have to recap week 12 first. So let's go ahead and jump on into that. Last Thursday, we actually had a top 25 game last Thursday. We had Tulsa and Tulane. Tulsa won. We picked Tulsa to win, but man, it took 2 overtimes.
Yeah, it took a miracle Hail Mary pass at the end of the fourth and a pick 6 to win the game for the Hurricane.
Yeah. Tulsa had been rolling, but I don't know what happened there. They had a little struggle, took a miracle to win. Hey, but good teams find a way to win the games, don't they?
Bad teams find ways to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of bad teams finding a way to lose the game,
we get to talk about the Vols again because
they played Auburn. Auburn, number 23, played Tennessee. Tennessee looked good in the first half, like they always do. They'll play a team all the way up to the halftime, and then after the second half, they do absolutely nothing. So
that's a sign of poor coaching.
Yeah, that's some poor coaching. There's no halftime adjustments go on. There's no halftime speeches, no halftime coach. Something happens because at halftime Tennessee dies, and then they don't play anything else from that point on.
But anyway, Auburn got the win.
We picked Auburn to win. We knew Auburn was going to win. Auburn won 30-17. One of the games of the week, we had number 9 Indiana at number 3 Ohio State.
That was a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm. Indiana played with them. Indiana honestly should have beat them, man. Indiana outplayed them a little bit. Just some of the breaks went Ohio State's way.
Just like a lot of their Big Ten games. Justin Fields threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
And was uncharacteristically turning the ball over. And I can't help but to feel people are overlooking those mistakes.
Yeah, Fields is definitely not the Heisman. He should not be the Heisman candidate. Right now, the 2 SEC quarterbacks really should be the Heisman candidate, Trask and Jones. And then, of course, Trevor. We got Trevor in there, too. Even though Trevor's fallen a little bit behind because he's not played as much. But
because of COVID hit him, I don't blame him, though.
A Heisman candidate to me is not going to throw 3 picks.
Against Indiana. Especially when you look at Indiana's schedule when they face Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State. Which are very awful this year.
Yeah, Indiana was ranked high, but they didn't play a whole lot of good teams. So, but they played Ohio State good. So we'll give that to them. We had Florida at Vandy. Florida won 21.
Florida may need to fix up their D a little bit.
Florida's D is not that good, but man, Trask threw for another 3 touchdowns. It was 3, wasn't it? And he's threw at least 3 touchdowns.
Started off a little slow in the first half, but the Gators chomped them up in the second half.
Yeah, So that was Florida is honestly a little dangerous. They lost that 1 game to A&M, wasn't it?
And A&M's looking pretty good.
A&M's
though we
looking
haven't seen them in a few weeks.
No, but honestly, Trask is maybe leaning towards my Heisman favorite right now, to be honest. We had Appy State, Coastal Carolina. Appy State played them tough there for a while, didn't they?
But the Fancy Chickens reigned supreme.
34-23, goal Chanticleers. I'm actually starting to like Coastal Carolina now. We had Northern Alabama BYU.
Absolute smoking.
66-14.
That is a barbecue smoking on the backyard right there.
Yeah, they cooked the North Alabama team before Thanksgiving. Cooked them up real good. BYU's a pretty good team, but they'll probably won't get a chance to prove it because it's COVID season and they didn't play.
Much of a hard schedule.
Yeah. Same thing for Cincinnati. Cincinnati beat University of Central Florida 36-33. Didn't dominate them. But they beat.
But they got the plays they needed to make late and pretty much sealed off the game late.
Yep. I think Cincinnati's a pretty good team too. Maybe at least we'll get a Cincinnati BYU game.
The battle of the small teams.
The battle of the small teams sets in the year just to see which one's the better two. Yeah. We had Wisconsin at Northwestern. This was a surprising game to me. Northwestern
outplayed Wisconsin's offense.
17 and out defensed them.
Yeah, out defense them. They out Wisconsin.
They out Wisconsin. This is what Northwestern's best start since '96, I think it is.
It's something around that time. I mean, that's just incredible.
That is incredible. Yeah.
Their defense got 3 interceptions off of Wisconsin's quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And Wisconsin's quarterback was talking about how he was the best quarterback in the country after the first game.
And Northwestern's D said, "No, sir.
No, thank you. No Heisman for you." We had UCLA at Oregon.
Oregon got another squeaker.
Hey, the W is a W. Oregon probably is the best team out west.
In the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12. They squeaked it by 38-35, but Chip Kelly's UCLA is struggling.
Not looking good.
Yeah, struggling a little bit. We had Kentucky at Alabama.
Dear Lord.
63-3. Man, they covered.
Alabama scored on offense. They scored on defense. I'm pretty sure Devontae Smith got 3 more touchdown catches. I mean, Kentucky's vaunted secondary just got shredded up.
Smoked. I mean, Kentucky's defense was really, really good. That really surprised me. I thought it would be. Well, I knew Kentucky would win by 20 or 30 points, but I thought Kentucky would keep them from scoring 63.
Nope. Because Nick Saban can slot any guy that he has on his roster.
I think the guy who normally sells peanuts was down there, and he caught 2 touchdowns.
You mean the Big Al mascot?
Yeah, the Big Al mascot caught a couple touchdowns down there. That was crazy. We had K-State at Iowa State, 45-0.
Kansas State looks pathetically bad here. My goodness
gracious.
Yes,
that was a when you get 0 points against a conference opponent.
That's an oof right there.
That's an oof. 45-0. Man, that was ugly. We had Mississippi State, Georgia. It was a closer game than what I thought it should be. Georgia won 31-24.
They found a quarterback?
They finally found a quarterback.
JT Daniels threw 400 yards and 4 TDs, which Georgia hasn't seen in a long time.
I haven't seen that in a long time. Now, Mississippi State's really, really bad. They're really, really bad. So I'm not going to judge if he's the best quarterback for Georgia after this game, because a lot of quarterbacks look good after they play Mississippi State.
The defense has sort of underperformed this year, below expectations. As well, so who's to judge?
I think Georgia dropped, though, from one of the top-tier teams to one of the middle-tier teams. That's what they are right now. They're not elite on either side of the ball,
because every time they play an elite team like Alabama or Florida, they get their butt.
They get smoked, yeah. So they've dropped down to that middle-tier level. We had Okie State take on Oklahoma.
Pretty much older brother showing the little brother how it's done.
Yeah, that was Oklahoma completely eliminating the Big 12
from contention
in the playoffs. Yeah,
we really need that playoff bracket to be expanded.
I would love to go to 8 teams, wouldn't you? It'd be let's go to 8 teams, NCAA. We had Liberty finally taking that L at NC State. I was on the Liberty train, but yeah, the bubble finally popped.
By the Wolves.
The bubble finally popped, yeah.
Although Lady Liberty stands tall in New York, Lady Liberty could not take
the Wolfpack took her down. Yeah. But that was a good story. Up until that point, that was a really good story. We had USC at Utah, 33-17. USC took care of a little business there.
Yeah. It's about time they got a satisfying victory.
And then Clemson, Marshall, Louisiana, Texas A&M, Texas, and Miami were all postponed until a later
onwards to week 13.
Now let's jump on up
into week 13.
Hey, but it's Thanksgiving weekend football,
so maybe the luck will be shifted on its head.
Yes. We actually have 4 Friday games here.
Probably because it's Black Friday.
Probably because it's the 4-day weekend. It's Thanksgiving weekend, yeah. We got Iowa State taking on Texas, starting off.
Competitive game right off the bat.
Iowa State's favored by 1. That's a really tough game.
That means Texas will be favored at home. Wait a minute, Texas is not favored at home.
Texas is not favored at home.
That means Iowa State would be favored normally.
Yeah, Iowa State would be favored probably by 6 or 7 points if it was in Iowa State.
I'm still going to go with Texas.
I probably will too.
Because I feel like I've seen more of Texas enough to think that they could beat Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State skunked up on K-State last week, but I don't think they're going to do that to Texas. We got Nebraska at Iowa. Nebraska's pretty bad.
Yeah, Nebraska's been bad for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of feel like Tennessee in a way.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, once a very vaunted, powerful team. Now they're
an afterthought.
An afterthought. Yeah, the same way Tennessee's dealing with right now. One of the games of the day, probably the game of the day. We got number 2 Notre Dame at number 19 North Carolina.
Brian Kelly will he build on that Clemson win with this North Carolina victory? Or
I think so. I think Notre Dame would probably beat North Carolina. Do you? What do you think?
I think they will. They beat Clemson. I mean, I guess that's enough proof to know that they can beat good teams.
Yeah, and North Carolina's been up and down. They've looked like the best team in the country, and then
I think they'll be Jekyll today. But
they've been a little Auburnish. You never know. They've been a little trail mix. They've been a little trail mix.
Mac Brown likes his trail mix bags.
Yeah, he likes his trail mix. But we will take Notre Dame in that one. We got Oregon State. Oregon State's hard this year. The Beavers are.
Although the Beavers are a cool name, I admit.
I do like that. Yeah, there's not too many Beaver teams in the country, but
no.
All right, let's jump right on into Saturday's games. We got Ohio State taking on the Fighting Illini of Illinois.
Great schedule there.
That's going to be a crushing game.
30-point.
That's probably a 30-point win. Yeah. We got Kentucky at Florida. That's going to be another 20-point, 25. Maybe that's probably a 30-point win too. After Kentucky put up 3
against Alabama.
But Florida's defense isn't that good though, so Kentucky will probably put up some points. And Kentucky normally plays Florida a little tougher, but still though, Trask will probably, if Trask throws another 3 or 4 touchdowns,
then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No. We got Maryland at Indiana. I'll tell you, Maryland's played decent, but I'll jump back to Indiana.
You want to go with the Hoosiers?
They dropped from 9 to 12.
They played Ohio State tough. I mean,
yeah, I think
they're probably the best competition they're gonna get this year.
Yeah, we'll definitely take some Indiana on that one. We got Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Texas Tech is 3-5.
They're struggling. Let's go with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
they need to have a better passing game throughout the year, though.
They should probably win this one pretty comfortably. This should be a bounce back game. They should have practiced harder, tried harder this week. They'll probably win by double digit, 14, 17 points probably. The Tulsa-Houston game has been postponed. The Minnesota-Wisconsin game has been canceled.
Do you know what this means? Strike 3, you're out, Wisconsin.
Strike 3, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is no longer eligible for the Big Ten Championship. If you're not eligible for the Big Ten Championship, you are not eligible for the playoffs. So Wisconsin they'll play in a bowl game somewhere, but that's about as high as they're going to get now.
Well, I guess that's their goal, at least, to get at least a good season and get to a bowl game. Strike 1 for Ohio State. If they lose 2 more games, that means they're in the same boat as Wisconsin.
They're in the same boat. So, with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten starting so late in the season, they have no room.
No leverage.
There's no room to wiggle. There's no play room. So, if you miss 3 games, you're done. So, Wisconsin is done. We got Coastal Carolina taking on Texas State.
Coastal Carolina's got a big line.
They'll beat it's like a 17-point line. Texas State's only won 2 games. They're not Sea Chickens, Fancy Chickens. The Fancy Chickens, them Chanticleers. We will take them. Again, they've
been a running joke in our videos about us calling them the Fancy Chickens.
The fancy. Have you ever seen their picture of their logo? It's a fancy chicken.
It's a teal.
It's a teal chicken. It's actually pretty cool. I said that's where I like them. I like Coastal Carolina now. We got Auburn at Alabama.
Even though their head coach Nick Saban tested positive.
I don't think they even need Saban this week. Auburn beat Tennessee last week. They'll lose by 40 this week.
Because this is
the trail mix.
It's the trail mix team.
It's the trail mix team.
Although they've had success against Bama lately.
Yeah, but I don't much think they will this time. Bama's looking good. They just put up 63 on Kentucky's defense. The last 24 and a half, take Alabama.
Goodness.
Pittsburgh, Clemson. We will take Clemson. Clemson's back
we
in
finally
the...
get to see Trevor Lawrence again. It
We get
feels
Trevor-
like it's been too long.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a decent team. They're a middle-of-the-road team, but Clemson will win this pretty easy. I think it's a 3+ touchdown game.
I hope Trevor's going to come out and prove a point this game that he's still in the Heisman race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after they lost against Notre Dame, but Trevor didn't play that game, so... we got Northwestern, Michigan State. Northwestern should win. Michigan State is really bad.
They're rebuilding. They got a first-year head coach, and he's trying to turn it around. So Northwestern, they've been playing pretty decent lately. They've been a little streaky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We got Cincinnati Temple has been canceled.
No more wiggle room in the American.
So that's a strike against Cincinnati too. Cincinnati needed all the wins that they could get to try to fight to try to
And
get
that strike will probably hurt them.
That strike will hurt them. We got LSU, Texas A&M.
How long has it been since LSU played?
It's been a while. It's been a while since Texas A&M has played too.
I guess
we'll take Texas
no
A&M.
see.
We'll take Texas A&M here though.
Yeah, Texas A&M. They should bounce back after 2 weeks of rest.
Yeah, I think they will. And then we finally got Georgia, South Carolina.
Georgia
should
South
win.
Carolina doesn't even have a coach.
No, they fired their coach and they're in the middle. They're really struggling right now. So Georgia should win that probably by 3+ touchdowns. That should be pretty easy. And then we had Oklahoma, West Virginia has been postponed. So that is it. That is college
football this week.
Week 13.
And last week's recap.
Yeah, we hope you liked it. We hope you had a little fun with it. If
press the like button. Hit the subscribe button and comment down below what you think is going to happen in the Turkey Day football and college football.
Yeah, share us with your friends. It's the giving season. Give us to your friends. And hit the like button, the subscribe, hit the groovy baby button over here
somewhere on my face.
Other than that, we're going until next week.
See you next week.